Fancy Nancy, written by O'Connor, illustrated by Robin Prince Glasses. Fancy Nancy. This is my room before I made it fancy. I love being fancy. My favorite color is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. That's a fancy word of saying feather. I can't wait to learn French because everything in French sounds fancy. Nobody in my family is fancy at all. They never even asked for sprinkles. Ice cream. Super duper scooper now. There's a lot they don't understand. Lace trim socks do help me to play football better. Sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick in Philly toothpicks. A princess is supposed to keep her tiara on. What's a fancy girl to do? I asked my doll Maribel. Her full name is Maribel Lavinia Chandelier. Then I got an idea that is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I make an advert and stick it on the fridge. Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. Start today. Easy, fun, free. Ready to rumba? Called Bob's Ballroom Dancing. Tuba. Soon there is a knock on my door. My family saw the advert. They want to get started right away. Plain yellow leather glasses. Fancy gold patterned leather sunglasses. Plain, fancy, plain, fancy, plain, fancy. Fancy stuff. The trouble is my family doesn't own any fancy clothes. Oh, that's okay. I'll go and find, what's that fancy word? Oh yes, some accessories. Magic for kids. Huh? Awesome. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. My mom twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about the dinner at the King's Crown? Suggests Dad. Well, my parents are acting fancy already. Haha. Hee. Way. May I escort you lovely ladies outside? The limousine is waiting. My dad is our chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driver. Knock it off. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everyone looks up. They probably think we're movie stars. Whoa! Huh? Oh my. What's this? Movie stars? Bow, 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 bow. I'm so proud of my whole family. They eat with their pinkies up and call each other darling. Darling? For dessert, let's have parfaits, my mom says. That's a fancy French word for ice cream sundaes. Amazing! My mother knows French. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, Merci. Hey, little princess. Mousy. All right. I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. Oops, I slip, I trip. The tray does a double flip. Oh, Gaga. No, I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home. Baby, are you all right? After I get all cleaned up, I put on my peignoir. That's a fancy French word for dressing gown. I feel much better now. I'm ready for a parfait. I tell my parents, thank you for being fancy tonight. Yummy, dummy, chocolate syrup, goody ice cream. I love you. I love you, my mom says. I love you, my dad says. And all I can say back is, I love you. Because there isn't a fancy or better way of saying that.
What did you
The
think? Excellent reading. What did you think of that story?
Written by Jane O'Connor, illustrated by Robin Press Glasser. Fancy Nancy. All right.
Great reading.
Thank you for watching funny videos.